Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Sean. Today I'm going to talk about assessment of microplastic in oyster in coastal area of Taiwan. So first, we need to know what is microplastic. Microplastic means that plastic particles which are smaller than 5 mm in diameter. Despite there are variety sources of marine debris, the percentage of plastic is dominant. Because plastic is not easily break down, so it can stay in the environment for a long time. As the study shows, plastic weighs about 270,000 tons in 2013, and the production of plastic increased to 335 million tons in 2016, which is more than 1,000 times in just 3 years. And moreover, approximately 12 billion tons of plastic waste will have entered landfill or the nature environment by 2050. So what happens if microplastic enter oyster's body? It will impair digestive performance, and also it will cause fertilization failure, and it will alter immune and behavior response. And what happens if human eats oyster? There's a process called biomagnification, which means that the concentration of the toxic substance will getting higher through the food chain, which will also cause health problems for human. So why do we choose oysters for the study? Because it is the most common benthic organism around Taiwan. So there are approximately 22,000 tons of oyster produced from agriculture in Taiwan. And because they are exposed to microplastic in water through filter feeding activity, which means they filter a large amount of water to get the food they need, which will make them hard to escape from the plastic pollution. And also, unlike many other seafood species, oysters are usually eaten whole, rather than only specific body parts, which means we may ingest more microplastic, so the impact of eating oyster may be more harmful. So the purpose of the study is to know the content of microplastic in oyster, and also to know the types, the color, and the shapes of microplastic. So here's the sample location. You can see the picture here. There are 22 sites around Taiwan, and the circle ones means that there are wild oyster, and the triangle one here means that there are farm oyster. And here's the environment. Okay, so after the collection, oyster tissue were dissolved by using hydrogen peroxide, and then salt solution was added to the bottle. Because microplastics are lighter than the solution, so it will flow up to the surface and make us more easily to observe. So we are using microscope and spectrometer to identify the shape, the types, and the colors of microplastic. So here's the result. So a total of 660 oysters were collected, and the average length range are from 2.6 centimeters to 8.9 centimeters, and the soft tissue weight range from 0.6 grams to 10.3 grams. And unfortunately, there are microplastic in all oyster sample. So 6,630 items were counted as suspect microplastic, and the average content of microplastic was 3.2 items per gram weight. And the count of microplastic was highest at site C and lowest at site P, which you can see site C at here and site P at here. And the contents of microplastic in southeastern waters and southwestern waters was significantly lower than those in other waters. So here's the table from the study, but there's so many words and numbers, so I just simplify. and choose soft tissue weight and the contents of microplastic to redraw it. And you can see this area is in Keelung and New Taipei. So the content, the North Taiwan contains higher level of microplastic. So here's the appearance of microplastic. So we find that transparent are the most common color of microplastic, and then it's black, as you can see a pie chart over here. And we find that fragments are the most common shapes of microplastic, which have about 66.5%, and then it's fibers. As you can see the picture over here. And then we find that PET is the most common types of microplastic, and then it's PP and PVC. And here's the content of microplastic, and here's the different types of microplastic. And I will explain the reason later. And last, we find that wild oyster contain higher level of microplastic than farm oyster, as you can see the picture over here. And I try my best to improve the quality, but I think it's just like this. So sorry. And as you can see here, there's difference in environment levels in different here's difference in microplastic level in different environments. And as I mentioned before, PET and PP are widely used in the manufacture of plastic bottle, and PVC is commonly used in many kinds of food wrappers and bags. So because humans usually visit nature coast more, so when we visit, we may use these daily products, but just left it behind, so which will eventually break down into microplastic. So nature coast usually contains higher level of microplastic compared to artificial reefs and sea farms. So here is the conclusion. And I just times the average items of microplastic and the average weight of oyster. So there will be 16 microplastic particles in one oyster. And if we move on to the most polluted area, the number will increase to 190 microplastic particles in one oyster. So the next time you try to enjoy eating oyster, try not to eat at the northeastern coast of Taiwan. And if you can, choose to eat farm oyster than wild oyster. And as the study finds, there are microplastic in all oyster sample. So disposable plastic reduction is still the primary goal to let the creature lives in the sea have a healthier life. Thanks for your listening.